afternoon. You're listening to another episode of OKaye, Let's Be Frank, here on 1320 AM WCVG, The Voice. I'm Frank. This is Kay.
Hi.
Hi.
It's good to have you back for another hour this afternoon.
A whole nother hour this afternoon,
so
man.
Cool.
It's super crazy to be back and just talking God's word and being able to speak, actually, is is really cool. If you missed our last hour, you got to go back and check that out. That's it was live at noon, and had my brother Zach Metz and Miss Abby Sparks were in here, and man, this room was just filled with the Spirit, and our chit chat was golden and
absolutely
and Spirit led for sure. It was so awesome, and if you're familiar with our show at all, at the end we do a segment called Let's Be Will. And the scripture that came up on the wheel was so profound. I was just in awe for a while. Still kind of, for sure. Spirit's just super prevalent in here today. And I thank God for allowing me to be in his will, allowing us to be together and gathered for his purpose. And so anyway, we thank you. We are here for another hour today. We've got a very special guest in the studio with us today. I know that it's pretty prevalent on the news and on social media what's been going on around the country. Our guest on the second hour of OKaye, Let's Be Frank has actually been experiencing some of this stuff firsthand. And so we're going to get into that a little bit later about their experience and how he's been moved to speak and move forward from this. So, anyway, I got to get my shout outs out of the way before we bring him in and bring him on and all that. So, I just want to say a big thank you to Rise and Shine Cleaning, Miss Kim Dotson. Her cleaning business, they do residential and commercial. She will clean whatever, pretty much whatever you want. They are in COVID protocol. They use all organic materials. It was alive at noon. And sorry, man. He's like, I can't leave stuff alone. Anyway, Rise and Shine Cleaning. Call Miss Kim Dotson at 859-803-1740 to schedule today because you've worked hard enough. Amen. Big shout out to New Reality Church, 7137 Mandalay Drive in Florence, Kentucky. We've got a service on Friday night starting at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock we feed you. 7 o'clock is service. 8 o'clock is a meeting for those who need that. New Hope Christian Center, 941 Central Avenue. They have one service at 10:10 a.m. on Sundays. And the online Bible study continues at 7 p.m. at New Hope Christian Center Newport Facebook page. That's Brother Jerry Certain, Brother Kevin Johnson leading that up. Shout out to the Care Closet, Miss Stacy Cherry, coordinating the giveaways or the donations, not giveaways. You get a prize, everybody gets a prize. Anyway, no. carecloset.com, check it out, or coordinate with Miss Stacy Cherry about donations, drop-offs, those types of things. Renew Ministries, that's Miss Donna McKinley, renewministries1.com. They take anything from clothing to furniture. I think they even take automobiles. So whatever you have and you want to donate, get with her, and you guys can work that out. Another big shout out to all the women who participated in our Women's Empowerment Month last month. Goodness gracious, I just want to thank you all so much. Powerful testimonies.
Yes.
A lot of education.
Yes.
And a lot of women empowerment for sure. There was so much that happened, and I learned a lot. I don't know if Kay did.
I learned that I love Frank to be my anchor. That's what I learned. No, I did learn a lot. And it was a great month. A lot of great guests, a lot of great women that was on the show, a lot of good things that they do in the community, and it was exciting to have them.
For sure.
And for us to be able to do that.
For sure. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. A lot. I think my favorite part, honestly, was the business spotlights. Like just being able to go out in the community.
That was fun.
It was really cool. Like we went to there was a place called Villa Mocha, a coffee shop out in Villa Hills,
Right.
Kentucky, and then we got to go to KT Warehouse Solutions
Right.
down in Covington. That was super cool. I think it's really cool that God's given us an opportunity to go out and be a part of the community.
Right.
You know what I mean? We
Get
went
to know these people.
we went and saw Miss Kim Dotson
First
on
basis.
location
Yeah, it
while
was
she
so
was
cool.
while she was doing her thing, you know, and not to mention the ladies that came into studio, from the ladies at Gina from Ida Spence, Miss Diane from Carrot Closet. We did a business spotlight with the ladies of Carrot Closet, Miss Carol and Stacy and Tracy.
Right.
Just I don't know. It was a month of coolness. I really loved it, man. Paula Russell came in from New Hope Christian Center. Lakrita Bowman, Miss Ebony J.
Ebony
J came in.
That was amazing.
It's just it was awesome. It was well. She was on the phone.
On
She
the
didn't
phone.
get- she
Yeah,
didn't come in.
but it was still, she was our special guest.
Right, special guest, Miss
Miss
Ebony
Ebony
J, man.
Yeah.
Love you guys, man. It was so awesome. So, thank you again to the ladies. And
Eileen, don't forget Miss Eileen.
Miss
Now, we
Eileen
can't
Maloney,
forget
she's gonna
Miss Eileen.
smack me. Oh man, Miss Eileen co-anchored with
Yes,
Kay,
that was amazing.
so that Kay didn't feel alone.
Right, right.
But they empowered each other, and I think we all learned a lot, man. It was really cool. It was
a
really
good
cool.
time. Mhm.
So moving forward, since then we have unfortunately been a part of some craziness in the in our direct community.
Right.
Being a spiritual person, it's very hard to keep your feelings and emotions on lockdown and do the right thing and do what we're called to do
Right.
in times of turmoil and just I don't know what other word to use except craziness. There are protests, there's rioting, there's looting, but I don't think that we need to get those three confused with one another, because there are some of the protests that are peaceful.
Right.
There are some people that are out there that are trying to get a togetherness message across. There are some people out there trying to bring a unity to the community. And that's being, that's being overshadowed by a lot of the craziness
Right.
that other people are demonstrating.
Right.
So, who we have with us today is a person who has been a part of the protests, who has been peaceful, but still been a part of some retaliation. And that word doesn't have to be looked at negatively either. Some people, we look at police officers and they have to do a certain job. Not all police are bad, and not all protesters are good.
Right.
But we as human beings should have empathy and sympathy, and we're allowed to have both of those.
Right.
And we have to understand all sides. So, is it not moving?
Yeah, I got it.
We good?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in lieu of that, if you missed our last episode, it started at noon. Brother Zach and Sister Abby were in here, and we kind of touched on these things, and we talked about the things that really control, how do we fix it, is really what we were talking about.
Right.
And how to stay consistent in love, and we talked about how when I looked up the definition of race, in there it had no color. There was no mention of color at all in the definition of race. So we talked about how this is a generational culture that has been perpetuated into a lot of hate through years and years. And there's not a person to blame. There's not a finger to point. There's not a head to cut off. But it is also something that we can change.
Right.
And what that is going to have, how that is going to have to happen is we have to start to love. We have to start to unify in progress and learn how to pass that baton on to the next generation so that we can start to turn this thing around. If anybody's ever driven a boat, it takes a while for a boat to turn. Rudders are small, the boats are big. Mm-hmm. You can turn the wheel all you want, but you got to stay the course for it to turn.
Right.
And I really think that the gentleman that's with us today, he started to do that. He did what a lot of us wanted to do, and I think he did it in a good way. So, without further ado, I want to introduce Mr. Corey Wolfe. Corey, I thank you for coming in and sharing your story and your testimony about what transpired and your thoughts and feelings and what you think about moving forward and all that. So, thank you.
Yes.
But I just want to ask you, what were your first thoughts when you heard about Mr. Floyd's death and all that? Like, what was that the thing that triggered you to go out, or how did it start? What were your feelings?
Oh, jeez. When I first heard about it, I saw the video. There was mixed emotions that I was feeling. I was trying to figure out how to process all those emotions. There was definitely sorrow and sadness for that man. There was anger. There was a lot of hatred that was building up in there. There was a lot of fear. It was just a mixed emotions, and there was a lot of worry for what might be coming next. It was a lot of worry for my family, my friends, for everyone in general, but all I could sit there and think about was, what if that was my uncle? What if that was my dad? What if that was my cousin? And it scared me. It scared me really bad. I was terrified for everyone, for people around me. And I just didn't know what to do at the time. I just was just stuck. I kind of just listened to the news that was going on, the reportings. I kind of stayed due diligent. I mean, everywhere you go on media, you're going to see something happening between the protests, whether it's Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok. It's everywhere. It's unavoidable. You can't not see it. And it just kept stirring a lot of fear and a lot of anger and a lot of sadness, because I could see humanity heading in a storm. And the storm's been brewing for a while, but I feel like it's just been the tipping point there. And at the point there, I just didn't know what to do, and I wanted to do something, and I didn't know how to do it. I guess it's the best way I can describe how I was feeling at the time when I first saw it.
Hey, man, well, I think a lot of us, when you first see something like this, and our first thought is to go fleshly, right. For sure. You get angry and you don't understand. My thought, even if I try to pull myself back from the initial situation, my thought is, why are you filming this? You know what I mean? Somebody had to stand there with a camera and watch the whole thing go down.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, what?
Right.
Like, no, you throw the phone at the dude or something. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But even that being said, to get away from the anger or to see a bigger picture at that time is hard. It's super difficult. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't understand, like, why is this going to happen? And then you start to understand, okay, there's going to be a huge outrage. There's going to be people be upset over this because this is not the first time, and the times that have happened before obviously have not made a big enough impact to change this.
Right, it just keeps on getting worse and worse every year. It seems like it just grows instead of getting better.
Right. And it's crazy because, so I think Minneapolis is what, 1,800 miles from here. So Minneapolis, when it happened, they started to riot and loot. And then it's in New York, it's in Atlanta, here in Cincinnati, all across the country. This wave of hurt has come across. But I really want to get your thoughts on the rioting aspect. Let's start there. I am under the belief of we do things peacefully. So to get in the mindset of a rioter, to go and start making a ruckus and hitting cars and flipping cars, setting stuff on fire, breaking into businesses and all that, I can't wrap my mind around it, but it's a real feeling for somebody.
Right.
Absolutely.
So put yourself in that situation, in that mind frame. How do you think that helps get a point across? Or do you?
To tell you the truth, when I first heard about the rioting and looting, I was on board with it because I was angry. In my mindset at the time was, we have the right to do that. People are angry. Nobody's listening to us. The voices of the people are not being heard. So when it comes to products and stores and stuff like that, my first thought was, that can be replaced. My dad, my uncle, my grandmother, my siblings, people in general cannot be replaced.
Right.
Once they're gone, they're gone.
Right.
So I didn't care about those stores. I didn't care about the vehicles, the merchandise, the items and stuff like that. I didn't care about it. But the longer I sat on it and began to think about it, and this is just my personal opinion on it, I'm not trying to tell anybody how to feel. My personal opinion on it is, I get it, I understand it, and I definitely feel the rage and pain behind it, but I'm not quite on board with it, to an extent. Yeah, these big corporate stores and stuff like that, they can be replaced, but these smaller, locally owned businesses, people who are being impacted by it, it sucks. Right. And I don't want to see my world on fire. I don't want to see the communities being burned down. I don't want to see these people losing their livelihoods in the chaos of, I guess the best way to describe it is the fog of war. Right. Because people are emotional and in their feelings and stuff like that. I don't think there's protesters out there intentionally wanting that. Right. I think there definitely is people out there who are in the wrong and enticing it and trying to create violence in there and trying to misconstrue what the good, honest people are trying to convey and get across and have their voices heard. It's a hit or miss on there, and I can understand it. I can definitely relate to it because I tell you the truth, if any of my friends or my family members were murdered because we're different, yeah, I'd want to get out there. I'd want to destroy things and stuff, but I have to take a step back and say, what is this accomplishing? I want to be heard. I want to do the right thing for the right reasons, and I want to make a difference and have change, not just here in my country, but in the world around me. I want to show that people matter.
Truth. Man, good.
But I want to do it in the right way. So, that's the best way I can describe.
Oh, good stuff, man. Good stuff. People matter. I love that you say that. What do you say to the people who were talking about? I found this interesting. When we start talking about the riots and the bad things that are happening, there are those people who say, "Well, we tried to protest peacefully, like Colin Kaepernick, by taking a knee during the national anthem, and that was shunned. He got kicked out of the league, and so many things. He was peacefully trying to protest his feelings and emotions. Some other players went along with that." And some, I think it was maybe even the Steelers were like, if any of you guys, no, it was the Cowboys. I think Jerry Jones was like,
Jerry
if any of
Jones,
you
yeah.
guys go out here and take a knee, you're off the
You're
team.
fired, right?
So they tried to do it peacefully, and now everybody's against the rioting. What do you think the best course of action is? Like, people are trying to make their voice heard and trying to do it in the right way. But that seems to be frowned upon when they do that.
To tell you the truth, I think it's when push comes to shove situations. I can't tell, I don't want to tell people what they should do and what they shouldn't do because I'm not them. I'm not living in their experience at the time.